Hey everybody, I actually have the internet connection's working right now. I'm, of course, parked out in front. We're here in the street. That sky looks brighter than it really is. Ooh. Still camping out here. I got a I got a leak in the radiator, which I tried to stop with that stop leak, but that stuff only worked for about a day. So I wasn't able to run the engine to keep the truck warm last night. It didn't get really cold. Last night it got down to maybe, I don't know, 50 or maybe the high 40s. So it was survivable without any heat source. Not comfortable, but survivable. Uh, uh, I think the wife is gonna get the all clear today because she's doing a lot. She's doing way better. I mean, she's not even visibly sick, but you know what? We take no chances like that. We wait for her to get the all clear, and then the family can come back together. You know what I mean? Let it go with her. Uh, Good to hear Gina is improving. Oh yeah, no, she's 100% actually, but you know, from what I can see through the window, and and what she shows, on because we communicate with the phone and give each other signals through the window. And, yeah. Only after she gets the all clear though. Then hi from New Zealand. Hello. Hi Thomas. Does she watch your? Yeah, she watches your live streams. So a lot of times, like when she calls and then the live stream completely cuts out, and then all you hear is the voice part. That's usually what's going on. She's like, "Your live stream is too long. You're chatting and chatting, and you sound delirious." I'm like, "Yeah, because I only got a couple hours of sleep." So, uh, sorry about that. I don't want to make you guys go on too. So I don't know what kind of. I need to replace that radiator because I'm up to pumping like 2 gallons of water into it a day. So you know, I'm just running water in the coolant system. I mean, I'm gonna blow a head gasket before you know it. So either go to a junkyard or I don't know. I was looking at AutoZone and O'Reilly prices online. It's like about $100 and something for a new radiator, but of course, it's a lot more expensive for another engine. So, radiators are cheap, engines are expensive. Oh, maybe I'll make a video of that. Bore you all the tears. Replacing the radiator. But when I got this truck like over a year ago, the radiator looked sketchy to begin with. But it lasted. all the way up until maybe about a month ago, and then I started having coolant loss issues. Uh, I think it's uh, time to before I have to replace the engine. This time of the year, in my area isn't. Oh, you see a bug fly. I see a bug flying around here too. Oh, that might be the first mosquito of the season. Did you see it flying around in there? Maybe not. I don't know. Usually around May 15th, begins the mosquito season in our area. Doesn't doesn't start out really bad, but by June 15th, give it a month, and it's hellacious. Well, I'm lucky. It's pretty good streaming there. Of course, I lost a couple of viewers. Okay, I'm up to 6 again. That's cool. 7. I don't know. Should I keep that tire machine? I was talking to some guy that said that if I take the tank out, he'll weld the tank for me. Let's see. Good morning, Scrap Kingdom, from Joshua Calloway. Well, I'm gonna try and make the most of the day. I don't know if any of you guys have kids in school, but it'd be great if how's the wife? Oh yeah, she's totally recovered, but she's waiting for her test results to come back. You know what I mean? Just because she's not coughing out doesn't mean I'm just gonna go march into the house. You know what I mean? No, 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 no. AU scrappers trade the tire machine for a radiator at the wreckers. Maybe an option. Yeah, maybe. I'll ask. That's a suggestion. I transloaded it onto the other pickup. AU scrapper. I took the tire machine and I put it on the back of the yellow Chevy because I was sick and tired of lugging around that 650-pound albatross and needing to be careful when I made a turn. You know what I mean? Because if you turn too hard, very top heavy, you flip right over and go right through that cruddy wooden sides that I have on the truck, which are they're just designed to contain the stuff, not really support a heavy load. I see some scrappers have like steel welded structures and all that, cages for their scrap. Not the king. There's some cheap scrap wood. Quick, fast, cheap, and easy. Some drywall screws, a couple of 2x4s that had a notch cut in them so they could be fit in a pickup bed rail, and slap that sucker together, and you're off scrapping. The sun is coming up slowly. It's like early dawn right now. I like this time of year. Billy B, Scrap Kingdom, how are you doing? Oh, I'm doing great. I mean, I think a lot of people have the misconception I'm the person that's sick. No, it was just the wife. Yep. I mean, it appears as if she's fully recovered, and she went to get tested. What was it? Wednesday or Thursday? So today's Saturday. So takes, from my own personal experience, it takes anywhere from, it could take anywhere, this is what they say, anywhere from 2 days to 5 days, 5 working days. So let's say you get tested in the evening, that's not even counted as a day. You have to count the next day into that equation. Plus, they have what's called the quick test, and it takes like about an hour or so for you to get a result. But those are usually almost entirely administered by hospital drive-through testing programs. There's only a limited supply of them, and you have to make appointments for those, and then there's the kind that you pay for out of pocket, and that's what I took also. It cost $250. Plus, there's an additional $50 option to have, a bunch of other stuff checked out. Kind of like plugging your body into a scan tool. Like if you were a car, running all the codes. All the basic codes. Breathing. Is your throat clear? Any infections? They check your ears and your eyes and your heart rate, your blood pressure, and all that stuff to see if there's any sign or indicator that there is a illness. Won't that be great when this is, long past memory? You know what I mean? For the whole world. Some countries haven't been hit by it very hard at all, like Australia. Somehow or another has dodged this one pretty well, actually. I credit that to the thin population, but of course, the East Coast is pretty densely populated in areas, so it has the potential to spread pretty wildly in some of the like 3 or 4 big cities on the East Coast. But the rest of the country is not. It doesn't have large cities all over the place like the United States does. That creates a problem. Like I guess where Tucker Upper lives and that whole mid-Atlantic East Coast has been hit really hard by it, much worse than our area. But you know what? From what I hear, and can you always believe it? But from what I hear, is this germ does not thrive at all in the heat, in the warm months. So maybe the heat of the summer will annihilate it. I hate talking about it, but I figured I'd make a chat just to show you guys that I'm still here, even though I haven't been making scrapping videos. Still around. Still kicking. It's a little cold for this time of year, though. I've noticed temperatures are running pretty low. Not surprisingly, I mean, we had, a few days of snow in the morning about a month ago, which is pretty late in the season there, for accumulating snow. I see every day that I'm making these videos, more and more people, well, it's the weekend now, but more and more people are leaving for work and stuff, so I think the recovery is right around the corner. Let's hope. Because I've had I've had the opportunity to sit out here for hours. Why am I sitting out here? Well, what else am I going to do? You know, what else was I going to do? And number two, I don't want the wife to feel like she's been abandoned. You know what I mean? So sometimes if I'm not sitting in my truck and doing chores like around the outside of the house, like cutting the grass or tinkering on my car or whatever, I'll sit on the back patio, I'll sit on the chair, in the daytime when I'm taking a break or whatever. That way I'm right there. You know what I mean? I'm, uh, I'm right there out in the backyard. Wish you could look out the kitchen window and see my great presence. But other than that, I sit out in the truck and I can look right there in the window of the house, and you know, I guess it could be, other couples have it a lot worse. So I guess I'll count my blessings, whatever they are, right? Wow, this is really cool. This live stream hasn't buffered once. I'm impressed. Getting the Wi-Fi right off the street. So like if I like walk onto our property, the signal drops, and I tried doing that the other day when it was raining and thundering. One of my subscribers is like, "Why don't you get out of your truck and go for a walk and make your do your live stream that way?" So I got around the block. I was talking about like the culvert and the fact my side of the street has less infrastructure than the other side of the street because we're not the city. We had a couple of like lightnings and thunders, and then the phone started glitching, and then that was the end of the live stream. It froze actually, and I kept looking back at I re-uploaded, but I couldn't tap back into my live stream, and it had the little red icon on the bottom that said live. I'm like, I can't even restart that live video. It said like waiting. And said one or two people waiting, and I couldn't restart that one. So if your phone conks out, if you're using an iPhone for this and it totally conks out like that, the YouTube live stream just continues on, even though you're not even connected, and the battery is dead and everything else. I learned that one. Go into this with a fully charged battery. Well, I'm surprised Billy B is able to pick up the signal. He uses I guess he lives in Alice Springs area in Australia, so that would definitely be the outback. Pretty much the dead center of the outback. I'm surprised he's able to get a internet signal good enough, using satellite connection. That alone is impressive. Spot on. Yeah, I'm amazed. I think after years of years and years, probably like a century or at least, of needing to communicate in remote spots, Australia's got that pretty much sorted out there. We don't really have the same issues. I mean, we have the American West, but I don't know. It's been settled. It's been settled a long, long time ago. So I don't think there's very many places where you wouldn't have large swaths of dead spots. Well, with a sparse population, I guess that's not economically feasible to load up such a vast area with all that infrastructure that almost nobody's going to use anyway. Wow, this looks a lot worse on camera than it really is. That's amazing. It's amazing the effect the camera has on certain like little things. Like this, like right here, looks really ratty and chewed up on the camera, but in reality, it's like hardly even noticeable. It actually gives me an idea to like, take pictures of certain things that I'm not sure if they're broke really bad or not, because the camera actually gives a different eye and it gives a different perspective. I just realized that. I mean, I kind of realized that before. People are like, the camera makes you look fatter than you are. You know what I mean? Well, it doesn't just do that. Simple, like, dumb little things like that. That's, from where I'm sitting, it looks like almost nothing. But looking at the camera, my roof lighting is the same. Fixed it with, oh yeah, thumbtacks. I've seen people do that, or use a stapler and stuff like that to, use a stapler. What what is with this? All car companies. I mean, back in like I think 1977, car companies started going to this crappy, like this felt that's glued on. And Morning Kingdom, you couldn't see me. Yep. Hey kids. Car companies rapidly started going to this, and this stuff starts falling down from, well, if you leave your window open a crack and it gets moist in your car, over and over and over, just the heat and the humidity get to the glue, and it deteriorates rapidly. And before you know it, you get the headliner like touching your head. Before that, they used to use like little steel rods, and the headliner was stitched to those steel rods, and that thing never came down. I mean, that car could be 40 years old, and the headliner would still be up there. Not anymore. About 10, when the thing's about 10 years old, you start seeing like little puckers, and starts to starting to come down. You can't really clean them either, because if you use cleaners on these, that just accelerates the deterioration. Because the I don't know, the friction or the back and forth like that starts to, make that whatever it's glued to it makes it turn powdery, and then it loses its adhesion. Why? Must be an engineering thing. Maybe because they can give it a shape. Because I see a lot of cars have like a molded shape to the ceiling, make it look special. Who knows? I'm not an automotive engineer, but if I knew one, I would ask. Droning on about it, but after like maybe 40 years of making these like this now, you think that they would like, oh wow, that's really a problem. Let's come up with something a little better. Oh Lord. The worst one that we have is the Volvo. That thing, like that headliner, that whole thing had to go. I mean, it was just even the styrofoam shell that the felt was attached to, the styrofoam shell had like a bow like downward in it. Like I don't know if it like warped from like the sun's heat or something like that, but I've never seen a car get to that, level, but you're losing like about 2.5 inches of headroom in the car because the headliner styrofoam shell was like warped and bowed downward. That gotta go. The whole thing. All right, what other boring topics? What else are you guys wondering? I got some scraps in the back of the truck that, people have dropped off. And did you guys see that boat trailer the other day that I showed in one of my videos? I guess the guy cut the whole thing up. I tried cutting it up with my battery powered saw, but I only got like 1.5 frame rails actually cut all the way through, and I'm like, this is going to be a forever project. It's going to take me about 6 hours. I'll let the homeowner do that, and if they do it, they do it, and if they don't, they don't, because the price of scrap is so low. You know what I mean? It hasn't really gone up too much. It's still like 100, and last time I checked, it was like 120 a ton. And I think, you know what? I don't think it's going to get any better. Because typically, May, June, July is the high point of the year. And after that, it levels out. And by the time you get to August, it's starting to lean towards dropping. And definitely by September, it's going down. And you know what happens in October. It always goes all the way down. That's probably like the lowest point of the year, October. And aluminum ain't going anywhere. Aluminum is dead for the next 2 years at least. There's such a huge stockpile. Unfortunately, they'd have the industry knows this too. I mean, if I know this as a scrapper, all those big corporations know that. How many people are still watching? I haven't bored to tears. Hard to read that in there. 10? Okay. Wow, 10 people that aren't bored so much that they. Well, that's cool. My wife's always like, don't sit in the car all day. I'm like, no, I'm not going to sit in the car all day. Actually, I'm surprised sitting this long hasn't really like bothered my legs like I thought it would. Like when I get out of the truck, I'm not like a newborn fawn, like you barely able to walk. Though it doesn't feel like it's really doing me any favors. So I don't really actually sit all day. Got stuff to do. So maybe today's the day we get back into scrapping. I don't know. Get things moving again. Now it's gonna be like in the 80s, Fahrenheit in about a week. I think Monday or Tuesday is supposed to only get up to like 55 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty cold for this time of year. What else? School for my daughter is about to end in another week. It's called remote learning. Yeah, I'm gonna turn the camera here. Here comes my neighbor. I always wondered, never asked. You'll see him walking down the sidewalk in a little bit. I've always wondered myself, but never asked. This guy gets dropped off sometimes. I went out of my. I went and got my car serviced at. But okay, hang on. I'll read it in a second. I never asked like why this guy doesn't have a car, but he walks home from work, or he walks to work. But then sometimes he gets picked up and dropped off. But family members never take him to work or drop him off to work. So a coworker picks him up or drops him off, and if that doesn't happen, then he walks either to work or back home from work. And right now he's walking home. I think he just seen me lean forward in the camera here. So I'm gonna like make it nonchalant, like I'm not like paying attention to it, because otherwise they'll think that I'm like creeping on the family and like, you know, spying on them and stuff like that. See the guy walking right there? I'm feigning like I'm, you know, leaning forward and by doing what I'm doing. Okay. I don't know, he's been doing that for like 15 years, so. I went and got my car serviced at my mate's garage the other day and had loads of scrap batteries and 44-gallon drums full of oil. Well, you hit the mother load there. How much are the batteries worth per pound? Or you guys do kilo. I'm sorry. A kilo is 2.2 pounds, so it's not too hard to me mentally make the conversion. What's a battery worth per kilo? I think they're going for 15 cents a pound here, so that would be do the quickie math, so that would be 35 cents American per kilo. So, and the Aussie dollar is what, 65 cents. Now, the problem is price is so low, it's not worth paying for it. Oh, he's selling them to you? Oh, he's selling them to you. So, what would the price be for batteries? Because right now it's 15 cents a pound, and a pound is a kilo is 2.2 pounds. So that would be about 35 cents American for a kilo, and then you do the currency conversion, and that would be, see, the Aussie dollar is what, about 65 cents. So, and I'm claiming 55 cents Australian. What I'm getting is 55 cents Australian equivalent for a kilo. How much are you getting for a kilo? I'm getting 55 cents Australian for a kilo here in the States for a car battery. That's what they're going for at the one yard. At the other yard, at the one that's all wet and swampy, I think it's 10 cents. But there's a Chinese run scrap yard, and about 60 cents a kilo. Okay, so you're actually doing a little better than me. So what's the problem? It's not great. 60 cents a kilo Australian's that great, but I guess the price is too low to transport, or he wants to sell them to you. And if that's the case, then that'll be a big no, dog. Oh, thank you. I don't think the prices of that stuff. Now he wants $5 per battery. Woo-wee! What's he think he got there? So, at that rate, you're just the joker that's moving him for him. Yeah. No, they can stay there until right. Those batteries can stay there until they get in his way, and then somehow or another they find their way to the curb, or he ends up calling you up. Hey, can you move some of these for me? No, $5 Australian for a battery. I don't know. It's like what, $3 and $3 and some change American. $3.10. That's nothing. But that's a big chunk of the profit. So if somebody charged me $3 and something cents for a battery, you'd have to have a lot of batteries for me to be interested in that trade. You know what I mean? Like 50 or 100 for me to even consider it. Because otherwise they're just going to sit there. Like everything else. Except for the iron. I want to like start, pushing the steel, getting that out. This is the scrap life. A lot of people got into this when back in the day when the prices were really high back in 2007 and 2008. Well, actually, I'll include 2006 in that. 2006, 2007, 2008. And I think that's burned into a lot of people's memories how high the prices were. Of course, you get people like boasting and buffaloing like, I was making almost $3,000 a day scrapping. Like, what? I don't think so. Not unless you were like in the demolition business or something like that. You weren't making that. I don't see how. That unless you had some heavy connections, And then back in the day, people that produced scrap on a regular basis would start to ask me like, how much is this stuff worth? Because they'd really see me hustling. And then, you tell them, and then, well, that was stupid because you know what? Now they're keeping it for themselves. And so I saw the scrap supplies start to really dry up. Everybody was taking it in. I got my shoes off and I'm like on the floor there. Well, where else should they be? I took part of this dashboard apart, trying to locate that stupid buzzer thing. And man, if that thing isn't tucked so well far behind the fuse block and all that, the fuse block would have to be unbolted from the metal framing for the dashboard. That's like when you go and start monkeying with that, if there's like something wrong with the wiring just like a little bit, this 20-something-year-old truck, how old is this thing? 26, 27 years old. It's almost as old as my house. My house was built in 1990 after the tornado. The the original house that was here completely blown away, except for the concrete slab that it sits on and a few cinder blocks. Can you believe it? The insurance company saved the few cinder blocks that were left. You could tell by the old cinder blocks have like paint on them, and like the newer ones after they like rebuilt the house, you could tell like they were never painted or anything like that. So the ones that were left, and there was probably maybe 20 cinder blocks, because that's the foundation this house has. It has a cinder block foundation on a concrete slab. So when they rebuilt this house, because there was nothing left of it, that's what they did. That's how cheap the insurance companies can be. If there's like one stick left to the house, and if they could build around it, they will. It's hilarious. I mean, the tornado took everything else away. You could just take these last 20 cinder blocks, and they don't see it that way. That's what you call bean counting. My claim is when they rebuilt this thing from whatever was here before, they used a lot of one-of-a-kind materials, meaning like the windows that go to this house, you cannot find. You go to the hardware store or you go to Home Depot, or you cannot find a screen to fit these windows. They're like not a standard size, or they're out of date size or something like that. It's a brand name, but I think not like none of the houses around here have my kind of windows. Like all the other houses around here have similar type of windows, but yep, mine are one of a kind. Like as if the builder that rebuilt this used a bunch of like leftover materials and stuff like that, and really squeezed every nickel out of the construction. That's the kind of things that you notice about a house only after you've owned the house and you've lived in it for a while. Like when you're buying the house, that's stuff that you never even notice. But once you're there, it's like, oh, look at this. Yep. We've had like probably one or two scary tornadoes come by in maybe the past 10 years or so, but not too close to the house. Relatively unscathed. The last one that was really big and scary was went along or pretty much near Interstate 80, so which is about, I don't know, 5 miles to the south. You could hear it though. It sounded like a pickup truck with large, oversized tires going fast down a gravel road. People are like, it sounds like a locomotive. Well, I'm like, that don't sound like a locomotive. It sounds like a pickup truck going down a stony or a gravel road really fast. And I guess what that sound is the tornado tearing things up. Because you could see in the distance, you could see the green, bright green and bluish flashes and stuff like that. It's from power lines and transformers getting knocked out. Is your wife taking any meds for the virus? No, there's no. Oh, okay, Estonian Scrapper. Hello, Marty. No, there's no. How is she doing? No, she's doing fantastic. There's no meds that you could really take for it anyway. You know what I mean? Just self care. See, a lot of people don't know anything. The only thing they know about this is the scare that the media has been putting forth for all this time. And what it really is just for about 3 days, kind of a heavy, dry, hacking cough. Hello, did it reconnect? So I was talking, I was answering the last question. Is she any better and is she taking any meds? And yeah, no, she's, you know, I would consider her 100% recovered, but uh, waiting for her test results. And once they come in, then we can be a family again. We can, yeah. So that's what this is really. That's what she had was just a bad cold. That's what it came out to be. There's a lot of scaremongering. You know what I mean? Because they hear about all these deaths that are happening and stuff like that, but the statistics they're being manipulated. Like, say somebody had like uh I don't know, they had like advanced lung cancer, or uh advanced kidney disease or something, or some other major ailments going on, like more than one. And you're 80 years old or something like that. Well, you might get a little bit sicker, and even those people, a lot of them fully recover. It's people in nursing homes that are getting it, because you're all living in like one thing and being visited by the same nurse or nurses or whatever, and everybody living in the same environment like that, breathing in the same germs. That's why it spreads it. That's where a lot of these deaths are happening. It's almost all media. A lot of media hype. They're very powerful. It's very destructive. Can't ever remember a time in our country when like something like this. Okay, well, 9/11 was that, like, pretty much shut the country down for about a week. Okay, no airplanes were flying, but but it really affected mostly like the East Coast and like New York and Washington and stuff like that. But after about a week, okay, the country started back up. Stock market started trading again, and uh, the only thing that like went on for a year was the cleanup of 9/11 site. Okay, so that would be in the media all the time, like how much debris they were removing. You know, where where's all the debris going? Uh, Still finding personal effects and remains from people scattered about on rooftops, etc. Gruesome stuff like that. But other than that, that stopped the country for about a week, and then about what, 8 years later, 7 years later, yeah, 7 years later, we have 2008, right? Well, I mean, people actually say the crisis started in 2007, but the economy didn't crash completely until the end of 2008. So we have that, and that really like stopped up the country for, it took, we never really recovered from it entirely, but I say we really struggled as a country and as individuals for at least 6 months, maybe longer. And then now this thing comes along, and they are they are dragging this out, dialing it up, turning the knobs. You know it. Oh, it's been taken to the nth degree. This time, even school being closed. Of all the things, you know, all kids would like, a week, a surprise week vacation, off of school, just out of the random blue. That would be like, wow, or even 2 weeks would be like, but to disrupt kids' lives, where you can't graduate. There's no prom. There's nothing. You know, there's no school, no real structure, and and with the remote learning, I don't know about if your kids are in that, but my kid, okay, instead of school being like from 7 in the morning till 2:30 in the afternoon when you get home, school is all day long. Okay, we'll work on schoolwork and then we'll stop for a bit and we'll work on it and then we'll stop and then we'll work on it. So this crap goes on from like 8:30 in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. It's like all day school. I mean, I get it. You can only sit at the kitchen table or wherever you want to be, with your tablet and the computer and do a little bit of work and then walk away from it and do a. It's not really stimulating. Kind of rough on kids. It's rough on everybody. I see a lot of people running and exercising and taking their dogs for, like I've never seen so many people exercising, but of course you can't go to a gym and exercise. So I wonder if those places will ever totally recover because people have discovered that you don't have to pay to exercise, right? Or people are just, so bored there's nothing to do left but exercise. It's almost like being in a prison, right? Working out. Why? Why would the? That's another mystery to me. Like, why would prison officials want people that are in prison? Why would they want them to exercise? And why would they want them to lift weights? Because if they do that, you're only going to get stronger. You know, wouldn't the ideal prison system be where it's almost impossible to build strength and exercise? Because if you get stronger, you're a bigger challenge. Wouldn't it be? It seems counterintuitive. Like I think prison would be better if it didn't offer exercising opportunities. Or is there some other psychology going on there? I know in school though you need that because kids get restless, so you need gym. They need to be able to stretch and burn off some of that energy. Well, guys, as you can see, it's getting a little brighter out there, and I'm rising and shining. I changed my shirt, but that's about it. The rest of me is ripe as heck. No way to bathe, other than use the garden hose and the soap. See how clean I am? Pretty clean actually. I haven't been doing any scrapping really. A little bit. I've done a little bit. A little bit of compound work. visiting the compound. Be nice if the Department of Motor Vehicles was open, then I'd be able to register stuff and get that going again. But they are still closed. I guess they're closed until the 29th of May, maybe, or maybe the 1st of June. Whatever day that lands on. I think the 29th of May is like a Friday. They're supposed to. Can you imagine the lineup that's going to be there? Wow. There's going to be cars parked, people lined up for days. There's going to be a 3 block long lineup of people waiting to take care of registrations and titles and all that other good stuff that you haven't been able to take care of. That, like, we have currency exchanges and stuff like that here that handle a lot of that work, but some of that they can't do. So maybe everything will be rolling hot and heavy by June 1st. What do you think? And with that, I'm going to say bye. I'm surprised it's only buffered one time. Anybody else comment? Yeah, okay. No, she's not taking meds. Okay, I answered that one. Oh, I had the phone pinned to that. As you can see, the sun is just starting to try and get up there. And then with that, I'm going to say bye-bye. See you in the next video.